It's time for the Skinner Auto Group road trip. We're happy to have them on board. Be sure to stop in to see Roger and let him know you watched the show. Our ride of the week is the 2009 Ford Flex, and we enjoy driving it so much we're thinking about making it the drive of the month.
To see.
We head from Richfield Springs east on Route 20 to Sharon Springs. The beautiful homes and architecture alone are worth the trip and attest to a time in the mid-1800s when the village had become world famous as the social elite came to take the waters. We visited here a couple summers ago and learned about its fascinating history.
Well, the town of Sharon was settled because of its prominent location on the Great Western Turnpike and the Lunenburg Turnpike meet here. But the lower village and the spa area was settled because of the attraction to the mineral waters. In 1825, David Eldridge built the first boarding house near the springs, and then for several years after that, grand hotels and large boarding houses were built to accommodate the increasing number of people coming because of the attraction of the waters. And Sharon Springs waters were internationally famous and attracted the wealthy elite from all over the world. And this was in the heyday, probably until about 1890, when it wasn't fashionable to take mineral baths anymore. Probably around 1920, Sharon was identified more as a Jewish resort. And initially, Jewish people from Germany came, and then Eastern Europe. And after, I'll say, World War II, there was a brief rejuvenation because of concentration camp victims came here for treatment. It was paid for by the German government. And there was a steady decline, probably starting in the 1950s up until the present.
If you would like to learn more about this fascinating era in Sharon Springs, you can pick up Sandy's books at Cobbler & Company on Main Street. Right next door to Cobbler & Company is the old Klinkhart Hall. Built of brick in 1884, the first floor was a hardware store and upstairs was an opera house. After a fire in 1911, it was bought by the Masons and the upstairs was turned into a lodge.
We're here on Main Street in the Masonic Temple, and you're going to be hearing it first here on Mohawk Valley Living that this magnificent structure is going to be remodeled and brought back to life, and in the future will become a theater for live performances, and boy oh boy, that will be another reason to travel down here to Sharon Springs. Now, I have met many of the people here in Sharon Springs who have the talent and who have the determination to make this really happen, so that I'm sure that this dream is going to come true. And then if I'm really lucky, perhaps I can be one of the first people to perform here. Will that be possible? You bet. I'll be coming back. Thank you.
Richard mentioned all the artistic people who seem to have been called to Sharon Springs. At Chartwell Studios, we meet artists Marguerite McFarlane and Peter Casalino, creators of fine and decorative arts. They create fine paintings, classical sculpture, murals, and decorative art. The walls and floors are covered with samples of their decorative finishes. They hold classes that teach people the art of faux finishes that resemble marble, wood, stone, or metal.
If you're looking for the illusion of antique furniture or antique ceilings or floors, you can come here to Sharon Springs and have it created for you. It's called faux art, which I hate to say this, but faux being, of course, another word for fake. But you come here and the art is absolutely incredible. The color, the texture, the creativity. I'm holding something here in my hand, for example. This was the wall that was designed for Eddie Murphy's son. And this is the plans ahead of time. But you can imagine what it must have looked like when it was all finished. And it all starts right here in Sharon Springs.
Okay, this is Chartwell Studio, and what happens here is anything that you see that you want painted, gilded, designed, floors, ceilings, and then we also have classes. We've worked for Giorgio Armani, both in Manhattan and in Boston. We've done work for Spielberg out in California in the Hamptons, Eddie Murphy for about 15 years, and Ron Howard. I couldn't remember his name. I'm terrible with names. We did Ron Howard in Connecticut. Flat walls are, flat paint is almost like too much makeup. It's too much color, where you get the softness of the glazing, and then you also, as you can see some of the floors here, you can have a design floor without going for the expensive of having wood in all different, though marquetry is beautiful and everything. But it's a very, very old system. It goes back to Egypt. On the very, very beginning of Egypt, painted furniture. In Italy it started because the furniture wouldn't hold together, and because they didn't have good glue. And so what they did was they gessoed their furniture, and of course, you know women, they also wanted to design and paint their furniture. So then they started designing and painting their furniture, and the painted furniture in Italy started to come, and of course then the French also had to turn around and say, oh no, we don't want just plain chairs, Italian has painted chairs, let's get painting ourselves, so they started it. And if you go a lot, it really became very, very popular after sort of Levittown, white walls. Then people started to go to Europe, and they would see the softness of the walls, and that's when they brought it to America. I just finished for my great-granddaughter a memory box, and it was beautifully hand-painted, and people come here to do that. They want to do in their own houses. They would like to work. They would like to bring softness and color without an overabundance of color, but a very soft look, and they do that. They also like to do their floors. And they like to do frames. A lot of people do a lot of frames. So I can't really teach creativity or art. I can only teach tools and materials. If you say, I want it to look like this, that I can show you how to get there.
If you're interested in learning the art of decorative finishes, contact Chartwell Studios and ask about their upcoming classes at 518-284-2656.